Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members. I am really excited to be here today presenting House File 1277. This bill makes investments in as well as policy changes to our early learning scholarships program, both of which are needed and both of which will pay huge dividends for kids and families here in Minnesota. House File 1277, I think, links together several important themes that have already been a significant part of the work that we've done in this committee. We've learned about how brains develop prenatally, and I think it's worth remembering that 80% of brain development happens by age 3 and 90% by age 5. We've also heard about adverse childhood experiences and how quality early care and education can mitigate some of those most harmful effects. We've discussed the economic impacts that the lack of this kind of care can have, and how we know from the research that the best way to address opportunity gaps is by preventing them from opening in the first place. And of course, just this past Tuesday, we heard about the recommendations from the Great Start Task Force, which did extensive outreach and engagement and heard directly from parents, providers, and policymakers, and many others, on the reality of the need we face and the steps, and the steps needed to address these issues. In short, we know that early care and education is critically important for kids, it's critically important for families, it's critically important for all of us. Early learning scholarships are an integral piece of early care and education in Minnesota, but we also know that we can do more. An estimated 31,000 Minnesota kids would take advantage of early learning scholarships if the program were fully funded. Imagine saying to every single person who lives in Little Canada, Fairmont, and Hermantown that we could give you these kinds of benefits. So to the specifics of the bill, House File 1277 increases funding for early learning scholarships by $485 million per year. In doing so, we can increase income eligibility to 200% of federal poverty level, expand eligibility to all children under the age of 5, and cover the full cost of care. And I want to take a moment on this point. The caps for these early learning scholarships are set by MDE, and the current maximum is $8,500 a year for non-priority children and $12,000 per year for priority children. And MDE has publicly committed to increasing the caps if they're given these resources. This bill also permanently prioritizes children who meet specified criteria related to adverse childhood experiences and adds additional priorities, including children in families where a caregiver is participating in chemical dependency or mental health treatment or is incarcerated, as well as families who've experienced domestic violence. And I would also note that those changes are specifically recommended by the Great Start Task Force. In short, members, this approach is tested and effective. It's universal, but it prioritizes children most in need. And as we've discussed previously, we know that the payback will be impressive. I believe the term magic money tree was thrown around recently. I'm proud that this is my first bill heard in committee as a member of the House, and I hope we can find a way to fund this. At this point, I will turn things over to my testifiers, but I did want to also mention that there are obviously a large number of letters in support from various organizations who know how critical these scholarships are. I did just want to specifically point out the letters from the County Attorneys Association, Children's Defense Fund, and the Early Care and Education Crisis Working Group.
On to testifiers.
Yeah.
If you're on the list, if you want to start making your way down, just so that we can move through quickly, each testifier will have 2 minutes. First up, we have Stephanie Pill. Good morning and welcome to the committee. Please start by letting us know your name, pronouns if you prefer, and organization that you're with.
My name is Stephanie Peel. I'm just a parent. I have 4 children. All 4 have or have been on the scholarship program. It has helped support me and my family in an incredible way. It has relieved me from financial stress from having somewhere to bring my children so that I can work and provide for them and help the economy, as well as relief of knowing they're learning things they will need and use for the rest of their life. When I found out I was approved for the scholarships, I was so overwhelmingly happy, excited, and relieved. relieved of my financial burden because without this scholarship, I cannot afford to send my kids to the amazing program that they are attending now. My kids are so incredibly happy to go to the program that they are on. So I am so thankful to and blessed to the scholarship and the people out here that are supporting it. You could not imagine how important this is to my family and so many others out there.
Thank you. Next up, we have Diane Halsey.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Diane Halsey, and I am President and CEO of the Family Partnership. And I'm here to testify today in strong support of House File 1277. The Family Partnership is a 144-year-old Minneapolis-based multicultural nonprofit focused on helping families impacted by systemic racism and adversity. We provide many programs, including 2 therapeutic early childhood programs. Of the families we serve, 95% live below 200% of the federal poverty line, and 90% of those families are families of color. We support this bill as we know it will help transform the lives of many families and provide children with opportunities. Scholarships have become a major part of creating a robust child care system in our state and will continue to be a vital part of the lives of many low-income families. The Early Learning Scholarship Program has grown since it began in 2008 and has helped thousands of children since its inception. Unfortunately, tens of thousands of eligible Minnesota children still do not benefit from it due to lack of funding. And this bill will ensure that all children currently on the wait list would have access. And many more families who do not sign up for the wait list would also be able to receive an early learning scholarship and attend quality early care and education programming. I've been working in the field of early childhood going on 30 years, primarily in low-income, low-resourced communities. I have seen this scholarship program change people's lives. One of these people is a young girl that came to our program. Her name is Camille. Camille and her mom, Nicole, have worked with us since Camille was only 3 months old. The family faced many unique challenges, including the challenges Nicole has had cognitively. And when they arrived at TFP, Camille was testing below her peers developmentally. We were able to provide the family with the structure they needed and the therapy Camille needed to ensure she was prepared for kindergarten. And today, Camille is blooming in elementary school and achieving dreams that her mother and grandmother Karen always knew she was capable of. With the help of scholarships, our services bring even more opportunities to connect families with the supports they need. We know that Governor Walz and you as the legislature are committed to reducing child poverty. There's no greater tool to help reduce child poverty long-term and close the persistent Minnesota opportunity gaps in early learning scholarships. We support increased funding towards early learning scholarships so that families like Camille's can enjoy and access high-quality care. In my career, I've had the pleasure of not only overseeing therapeutic early childhood programming, but also administering early learning scholarships in Hennepin and Ramsey County. And in both places, there is nothing worse than having to turn a child down or away because the funds have run out, or ask a child to leave the program because and leave the teachers and playmates they love so dearly because their scholarship has run out for the year. Because of this, we urge you to support House File 1277 so that all Minnesota children will be ready for kindergarten and beyond. And if you allow, I had a parent of one of our programs that wanted to attend today to testify, but they did not have any transportation, so they wrote their testimony, which I would like to read today. I just want to, there was already some mention around the cap and the scholarships, and there is some mention around this cap. Marissa's children attend our Four Directions
Halsey,
preschool.
we can make a copy of that and send it around with the other written testimony. We just want to make sure we have enough time for the other testifiers.
Oh, okay,
If that's okay, can we make copies? We'll get it out to the members so they can read that.
okay.
Thank you. Up next we have Nakia Howard.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Nakia Howard, and I'm the owner of Kia's Love Bugs Child Care, a 4-star rated licensed family program located in Oakdale, Minnesota. I'm honored to have this opportunity to speak with you today about the importance of making sure all of our young children have a chance to learn and grow. The children in my program receive quality hands-on care while preparing for pre-K readiness in an enriched environment of love and structure. The benefit of having scholarships in place allows parents to attend school, work, or enjoy a day off without stress of choosing between their child's education or providing a roof over their heads. This has been a major concern for many families, especially navigating the post-pandemic economy. It would mean so much to me if every child in our community can receive funding for a better future. Some of these kids are victims to financial hardship, whether it be low income, homelessness, unemployment, or poverty in general. It is important that these children are eligible to receive a scholarship to fully cover their tuition in my program. We as family child care providers put in so much work to ensure these children have a head start on learning before they enter school. And oftentimes they aren't rewarded enough in compensation for the work that we do in the same way that other child care centers are. We want to be part of the solution, not the problem. Thank you for your time, and I highly urge you to support this legislation so all children in low-income households can experience good quality child care. Thank you, Nakia Howard.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. Up next we have Meredith Johnson. Good morning.
Chair.
Please introduce yourself and organization for the committee.
Thank you, Chair, and members of the committee. I'm Meredith Johnson, the Educational Services Manager at People Serving People, and an excited mother-to-be. At People Serving People, we work with families experiencing homelessness throughout Hennepin County. Our shelter provides supportive services for families, and we operate 2 4-star parent-aware rated early childhood development centers, one on-site at the shelter and another in the community, our Center of Excellence. We serve a diverse group of families through our 2 programs, including families that are highly mobile or experiencing homelessness. In our classrooms, we utilize a trauma-informed approach that focuses on social and emotional development and executive functioning skills to prepare kids and families for kindergarten and beyond. Early childhood education is central to our work in preventing the experience of intergenerational family homelessness. It's an investment in the whole family, and in particular, the youngest member of the family. Many of our families use early learning scholarships and the Child Care Assistance Program to access early childhood programs. Families are able to thrive in our community when they have the peace of mind that comes with having their child or children in a high-quality child care center. One parent from our Center of Excellence who wanted me to share, her name is Sierra, describes the center as their child's second family. Without this funding, families experiencing homelessness, children in foster care, and families with low incomes would not be able to access quality care and early education. Access to early learning scholarships is crucial in the financial support of our early childhood programs, which allows us to make a powerful impact in this condensed amount of time. In 100% of our children within the average time they spend at our shelter, about 60 days, they show growth in 3 or more of our assessed developmental categories. At People Serving People, we support bills like this that work upstream to prevent families from entering shelters or returning to our shelter multiple times in their lives. Early learning scholarships are directly tied to a family's ability to stay in stable housing. Last year, we had a family find housing only to return to the shelter after their family grew and their scholarship funds ran out. Without reliable and consistent year-round childcare, parents cannot work or pay rent. Sierra also emphasized that scholarships allow for a better future for their children moving forward. I'm excited for my child to grow up in Minnesota. I want him to grow up in a state that values making sure all families, regardless of income, have access to the same high-quality early childhood education that he does. We hope you will support fully funding early learning scholarships to ensure that all of Minnesota's youngest learners have the same opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Also, I will say thank you for bringing the point forward that this is part of preventing homelessness. As we talked about it in other spaces, I think it's good to call that out, that when we make investments like this, that actually keeps people in homes as well. That was it for listed testifiers. Do we have any public testifiers? Seeing none. Last time I moved too fast, so I just want to make sure I give everybody enough time. We will move to discussion of the bill. Any questions? Representative Hudson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions, but I do want to thank Representative Coulter for bringing this bill forward. And perhaps unintentionally, perhaps intentionally, this is a great furtherance of the conversation we were having on Tuesday, which descended into the rabbit hole of economic theory. But this actually is a on-point response to what I was hoping we would do as a committee in this work, which is recognizing the value of parents acting as that quality control mechanism. This bill empowers parents to take dollars that are attached to their kid and seek the highest possible quality care they can find. And I appreciate that, and I thank you for bringing the bill forward. I also note that the Minnesota Child Care Association's written testimony, they highlight that we're nationally known for this innovation of early childhood scholarships. So I'm glad that we're leaning into that. And again, I thank you for bringing the bill forward, and I look forward to supporting it.
Representative Hicks.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for bringing this bill forward. I am so excited to see that we're prioritizing early learning scholarships, and I'm also really excited to see that we've moved that federal poverty guideline. Inflation has taken a hit, and so I think it's important to make sure that we recognize that we're incorporating a lot of more families by this bill. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for bringing this forward. I'm excited to move this today.
Representative Nelson.
I will echo, thank you, Chair. And I will echo that, thank you for bringing this bill forward. And I think especially in rural Minnesota, we see there's a limited options of choices oftentimes. And the flexibility of being able to, help families get into something that fits their family best, I think is crucially important. And I thank you for bringing this bill forward and the funding that it's coming with.
Representative Zeleznikar.
Thank you, and thank you to, I just want to echo what everybody's saying today. This is such a big thing for all of Minnesota, and I think it's a huge initiative to help the children heal after COVID too, and to get ready for school. So I just want to lend my support too, and say thank you, because I think that's great work from the committee, and appreciate you bringing the bill forward. Thank you.
Representative Katiza Watun.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Representative Coulter, for carrying this bill. I've carried the bill in the past. I'm a big supporter of scholarships and a big supporter of making sure that all families in Minnesota have what they need. Scholarships are a really important piece of this early learning puzzle that we have here in Minnesota. And I think that this is great to see the additional investment. It's great to see the expansion of access. And I'm glad to see such bipartisan support.
Nothing else. We'll go to Lee Daniels.
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate it. Thank you, Representative Coulter, for bringing the bill forward. This is right on mark for helping children and giving parents the power to choose where they want to bring their kids. But I do, before I forget, I want to give credit where credit is due. This came from Jennifer Loon, former chair of the, I believe, Education Finance, and it's been growing ever since. And what a great deal it is! And it went from 185th percent poverty level to 200th poverty level. It sounds like a big jump. I did a little bit of work on my computer last night, and it's just a bump. It's like, if you're making 45,000, now you can make 47,000. So I was happy to see it's not unreasonable. But I like the program. I like the bipartisanship we've got going through this. Feel like singing Kumbaya because we have very few of those moments anymore. So thank you again, Mr. Coulter, for bringing this forward, Representative Coulter, and look forward to what happens down the road.
Lee Daniels, are you going to lead us in that tune?
Not me. He's leading. If I had a trumpet in my hand, I would lead.
Okay.
My voice, not so good.
Got it. I would agree with that. I think that in many times we come to these tables hoping to come together for what is really good for Minnesota border to border, especially for our next generation. So I appreciate all the individuals who have worked on this from the very beginning to continue to carry it, to build it to what it is. So thank you, Representative Coulter, for that. Final remarks on the bill?
Certainly, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you all for your kind words of support. I know they were directed sort of overtly toward me, but I know they were really directed toward the parents and families and advocates who have made this bill, made this program what it is here in Minnesota. So I know everybody's appreciative of that. So thank you, members. I guess in closing, I would just say, early learning scholarships obviously represent an opportunity to support something that shows not only that we care about our youngest Minnesotans and want them to get off to a great start, but that we know a good investment when we see one. They focus on children who are most in need, take advantage of high-quality programs in our communities, ensure that parents have the flexibility to do their work and live their lives, and at least start to pay providers adequately. And they do all that with a big return on investment. We, as has been noted, this program's been around for a number of years, and even before that, there are literal decades of research showing how important this is. We know the success stories. And, it's funny, when I was on the city council, it became sort of a running joke because I would say this every year when we would get into budget season. But budget decisions are policy decisions. And if we agree that these outcomes are ones that we support, there is every reason to fund this program. But budget decisions are values decisions too. And I think making this kind of investment in our early learning scholarships would be an incredibly powerful demonstration of the value that we place on Minnesota's kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Coulter. With that, Representative Coulter moves that House File 1277 is laid over for possible inclusion. Thank you.